This is the Registrar of Political Parties of Kenya. She receives 2 competing documents from one party. She receives alleged minutes of NEC from one faction, and then she receives a set of other minutes, all purporting to be NEC meetings of the same party. Then she also receives forms of change of membership from different sets of members of the same party with different signatories. All purporting to be one or from the same party. She then proceeds, all this happening within a week, to finally gazette, and I think, Your Honor, you should have a copy of the gazette notice we shared with you.
I think we saw it was came as a separate.
Most appreciated. Thank you so much. To gazette one set of officials. Change of party officials. We do not know up to this time whether she's going to gazette the other set. All we know is that there is a window of a week. All we also know is that having received the 2 competing documents, it should be evident that there is a dispute. It ought to be referred to the party to be handled within its internal dispute mechanism. All we are seeking is that the status quo as the applicant party, for the sake of good order, for the sake of fidelity to the rule of law, which yourselves, together with ourselves, swore before God to abide by. If the status quo ante is preserved, pending the hearing of the complaint before you, then we will know that the party is intact and there is no prejudice that will be caused to the respondents up to that point. We also urge you to find that it is in the interest of justice and fairness that interim conservatory orders are issued directed to the Registrar of Political Parties as soon as possible, stopping her from taking any further action with respect to change of officials within the applicant party. We find that it is fair and just to do so because there is a risk of imminent abuse the rights of members of the party, some of whom have been loyal party members long before some of us were born. I thank you.
A letter that I addressed to the Registrar of Political Parties through the units of Malas. I've got 3 copies here.
I join as part of council to emphasize 2 points. But before I do so, allow me to highlight 2 facts. One, the question as to whether or not there is a dispute. The answer is in the affirmative. Clearly, there is a dispute in Fort Kenya Party. Secondly, Your Honours, is there a complaint or pleading or suit filed before Your Honours? The answer to that question is in the affirmative, that there is a complaint that has been filed before Your Honours. The third consequential question is whether that complaint, as filed before you, has been determined. The answer is in the negative, that that complaint has not been heard and determined by yourself. That then leads us to the reason why we are before you this morning. That pending the determination of the complaint before you, what is it that has happened or is likely to happen? It's not disputed that indeed the registrar has taken steps that may lead to a conclusion of effecting changes to the applicant before you. If it were that process were to be concluded, Your Honor, 2 things will happen. One, for this honorable tribunal to arbitrate over, both the applicant before you and the tribunal will be engaging in an exercise in futility. In other words, simply put, the proceedings will be overtaken by events. Your Honors, there was a reason why this tribunal was established. One of which was that to make necessary interventions to ensure that complainants who appear before you at least given some measure of protection, so that the issues presented before you are heard and determined, as will be done before a court of law. If it were that the orders being sought before you are not granted, Your Honor, then that statutory purpose of your establishment would have been circumvented, not by the wish of the applicant, but by the wish of the inaction on the part of the tribunal. You know, we understand that at this level, you are not making conclusive determinations of the issues raised before you. But it would be important to note that whereas this matter has been pending before you, the registrar published a gazette notice sent out to the public inviting representations. That Gazette notice was based on documents filed by the first and second respondents before you. These respondents are the same persons, Your Honor, where the applicant, which is the party, is saying that they have no mandate to so proceed as they've done. Secondly, Your Honor, that public gazette is directed not only to the public, but also to members of the applicant, the party membership. Your Honors, there can only be one Ford Kenya party at a time. There can only be one set of elected governing officials of Ford Kenya party at a time. What is happening at the registrar is that there is being entertained, and I don't want deliberately to say deliberately so, are two sets of would-be officials communicating to the office of the registrar. And both of them allegedly being granted audience. That has created confusion. A state of anarchy. That if you are to go to the street today and ask members of the public and the members of Ford Kenya, who is your leaders, who are your national officials, they will definitely give different answers. We are here before you asking that in the interest of preserving the party called Ford Kenya, that at least you issue the interim orders to protect the party, not the individuals with competing interests. The orders sought before you are sought by the party for the party to protect the party. So that at the end of these entire proceedings, it does not matter who will or who will not win, who will or will not remain in the office. What matters is that there will be only one Ford Kenya and there will be only one set of officials of Ford Kenya. That is the reason why we are before you. We are therefore saying, Your Honor, that kindly grant the preservatory order of injunction. So that the parties can be placed and be granted an opportunity before you where there is equality. The current state of affairs, Your Honor, is going to destroy and tear apart the party called Ford Kenya. We urge you to exercise your unfettered discretion at this ex parte stage in granting the orders as sought before you. That will be all on my part.
Days. It is therefore our humble request that you make your decision in this application for an interim conservatory order as soon as you may be able to. And we pray if you could make the decision today or tomorrow so that our request is not rendered nugatory. We're happy to come back for an inter partes date as soon as the tribunal will direct. Thank you so much.